In this video, we continue with the section 3A, uses and abuses of percentages. We'll do problems 5, 6, 7, and 8 from the worksheet. Problem 5, the area of Norway is 22% more than the area of Colorado. So Norway's area is what percent of Colorado's area? So let's look at what's given. Area of Norway is 22% more than the area of Colorado. So the area of Norway is 100%, which is Colorado's area, plus 22%, because it's 22% more than, we add 22%. So the area of Norway is 122% of the area of Colorado. So Norway's area is 122% of Colorado's area. So there are different ways of describing the relationship between two quantities. So here we can say the same thing in two different ways. We can say that the area of Norway is 22% more than the area of Colorado, or we can say that Norway's area is 122% of Colorado's area. In the next question, that is problem 6, a store has a 50% off sale. Therefore, the original price of an item is how many times as much as the sale price? So we need to find the relationship between the two quantities, the original price of the item and the sale price of the item. So the sale price is 50% of the actual price because it's a 50% off sale. So sale price equals 50% of, so it's a fraction of the whole, which is the actual price. That's the same as saying the sale price is equal to 50 over 100, that is 50%, which simplifies to 1/2. When you cancel the common factors, 50 goes 2 times into 100. Of translates to multiplication, the actual price. So the sale price is equal to 1/2 times the actual price. The way we're going to say this is that the sale price equals 1/2 of the actual price. So this becomes a simple equation. So we just use a little bit of algebra. Now we want to find out the actual price is how many times the sale price. So the actual price is the original price. So we need to solve for the actual price. How do we solve for the actual price? We need to get actual price by itself. We have an extra number here which is multiplied to it. So the way we get rid of 1/2 is by multiplying both sides with the exact same number. So we are just solving a simple equation. So that cancels off the 2 in the numerator with the 2 in the denominator. So 1/2 times 2 is really 1. So this whole thing amounts to 1. So 1 times the actual price is the actual price. And the other side, we have 2 times the sale price. So the way we read this sentence is that the actual price, or the original price, is the same as the original price. So actual is the same as original. So original price is 2 times the sale price. It's the same as saying that the original price is twice the sale price. So once we have an equation that connects the two, we can either write the sale price in terms of the actual price. That's the way we are given. Or we can write the actual price, which is the original price, in terms of the sale price. So if we think of it as the actual price in terms of the sale price, we can translate this equation, last equation, into a sentence which tells us that the original price is twice, so that is twice, the sale price. So if we had to fill up this blank, we'd have to put 2 in there. So the original price, which we've called the actual price in the problem here, the original price is 2 times as much as the sale price, and that's exactly what this equation gives us. Now, problem 7 is just another example of what we were looking at earlier, absolute change and relative change. That can be given, relative change can be given in terms of a percent. So the percent of Republicans in the House of Representatives decreased from a certain number, 53.3%, to a certain number, 46.4% in 2009. So the new percent of Republicans in the House of Representatives is 46.4%, and the old or reference percent, that is the percent of Republicans in the House of Representatives in 2007, is 53.3%. So we need to find the absolute change. If you remember what the definition of absolute change is, it is just the new value minus the old value. Let's get rid of this. The new value minus old value. That's the absolute change. So the new value is 46.4%. So we plug in that number, minus the old value, which is 53.3%. And when we take the difference in that order, it is negative 6.9%. And it's clear why it is negative, because there is a decrease in the percent of Republicans in the House of Representatives. So that answers the first part of the question. Now, the second part of the question says, what is the relative change in terms of a percentage? So relative change by definition is new value minus old value, that we also call the reference value, divided by the old value. Times, of course, if you want to write it as a percent, it would be times 100%. So this is a formula that we have from before. Now all we have to do is plug in the numbers. We already know what the new minus old is. So the new value minus the old value, which is the reference value, divided by 53.3%, which is the again the old value, times 100, and there should be a percent here. So this is equal to negative 12.95%. All you have to do is use your calculator, and that gives us the relative change in terms of a percentage. So far, we've seen uses of percentages. Now in this one, you're going to see how we have abuses of percentages, as the title of the section refers to. Now, the average annual precipitation in a certain place is 90 inches. That is the average amount of precipitation. During a particular year, there were 2 different news reports. So the first report said that the precipitation this year is 200% off normal. And the second report said the precipitation this year is 200% above normal. Now, the language here, that is the use of the word off and the use of the word above, is going to give us two completely different scenarios. So let's look at the first case. So the first statement says the precipitation this year is 200% off normal. So this is exactly what it says. So let's convert that into an equation. So we write the mathematical version of it in the form of an equation. So precipitation this year is, so is translates to an equal to sign, is equal to 200% of translates to multiplication, the normal precipitation, which happens to be 90 inches. So precipitation this year is 200% times 90 inches. 200% by definition of percentages is 200 over 100 times 90, and that equals 180 inches. So this is how we would interpret the first statement. If the statement says the precipitation this year is 200% off the normal, then it's like saying, if you cancel off those zeros, which is 100 goes 2 times into 200, it's the same as saying that the precipitation this year is 2 times what is considered normal. So it's 2 times the normal, which is 180. So basically what we've done is doubled the 90 to get 180. Now let's look at the second statement. The precipitation this year is 200% above, and that's important here, above normal. So the increase in precipitation this year, so the increase in precipitation this year, because we've said it's above normal by 200%. So what this 200% tells us is about the increase. So the increase in precipitation this year is 200%, that is 200 over 100 of 90. So that's 200 over 100 times 90, that's equal to 180 inches, just like before. However, this is not the precipitation this year. 180 inches is the increase in precipitation this year. So what is the precipitation this year? It is 180 inches above the normal, which means we add 180 inches to what is considered normal. And that gives us 90 plus 180 equals 270 inches. So the precipitation this year, according to the second statement, is 270 inches. So here, this gives us an example of how the language that we use completely changes the meaning of the sentence. So the use of the word off, 200% off normal, is completely different from 200% above the normal. Because in one case, in the first case, our calculations show that 180 inches is the precipitation this year. And our second statement, we see that this year the precipitation is 270 inches, which is basically 3 times the precipitation that is considered normal. So another way of looking at it is, if the precipitation this year is 200% above normal, then the precipitation this year is 200% plus 100% of what is considered normal. So that's basically saying that it is 300% of normal. And that's how we get this number, because it's 3 times the normal. So it's 3 times 90, which is equal to 270.